You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you trying this with us here, my name is Clint Davis. Dennis McCaslin is next to me. We are with todayinfortsmith.com, and the Lady Bulldogs are about to tip off with the Lady Wildcats. They met earlier in the season, December 1st, and Muldrow put a 60-33 stamp on these Lady Wildcats. And here now, we're getting ready for the tip-off. And here's the tip. Taylon Collins wins the tip, as usual. Hannah Boyette bringing the ball up to the front court. Over to Madison Chambers to the left. Back to Hannah B in the corner. And now here come all the text messages. There's a shot by Cameron Johnson, and that's missed. Rebounded by Madison Chambers. Back to Cameron Johnson. Over to Hannah B for three. Drains it. That's the first 3 points of the ball game, and they do belong to the Muldrow Lady Bulldogs. They are the visiting team in the opening round of this tournament. There's the inbound pass stolen by Cameron Johnson over to Hannah Boyette, off to Madison Chambers. Madison over to Cameron Johnson. Cameron looking for Taylon Collins. Over to Hannah Boyette for another three. That's good. Hannah Boyette drains another three. The first 6 points of the game belong to the Muldrow Lady Bulldogs. And Hannah Boyette, there is an inbound pass kicked out of bounds by Taylon Collins. There's another inbound pass kicked out of bounds by Checotah, and that's going to be Muldrow ball. Here's Madison Chambers on the right side. Down to Taylon Collins, and she gets around her defender. Dishes it off to Shaylin Mays, and she dribbles once and drives in and misses her shot. Rebound off to Madison Chambers. Shaylin Mays with the ball. Now over to Hannah Boyette. She's going to drive. And she'll put up a shot and draw the foul. So Hannah Boyette going to the line for two, and she has an opportunity to make the first 8 points of the ball game her very own. And there is the first free throw up, and that's good. 7-0. Lady Bulldogs lead. All Hannah Boyette at this point. Second shot up, another free throw drained, 8-0. Lady Bulldogs up on the Checotah Lady Wildcats. Here's the inbound pass, full court pressure here from the Lady Bulldogs. Inbound pass nearly stolen away, and it is stolen away by Taylon Collins, and she dishes it off down low to Madison Chambers, who puts up a 2-point shot, no good, and there's Taylon Collins with the rebound. Madison Chambers now with the ball, and it gets stolen away. And Madison Chambers will foul number 5, Saray Butler. And so we've got a timeout on the floor. We're going to take it with them real quick, and we will be right back. You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. And we're going to bring you back in live. Here's the inbound pass from Checotah. Number 15, Madison Proctor with the ball. Full court pressure here from the Lady Bulldogs. And here's a pass down low, and it gets blocked by Cameron Johnson. Cameron throws it into the bleachers here. Now here's going to be another inbound pass. And the 4'8" Madison Proctor having a hard time finding somebody over the trees. And there's a rebound by Cameron Johnson. She's going to dish it off over to Hannah Boyette, who brings it up to the front court for the Lady Bulldogs. And Hannah's going to throw it away. And the ball gets stolen by Taylon Collins, recovered by Cameron Johnson. And Cameron's going to bring it up and dish it off to Madison Chambers, who dishes it off over to Hannah Boyette for another three. And that's barely in and out. No good on the shot. And Shaylin Mays is going to try to go up with a shot. If she'd be just a little bit stronger and go up with that, they would foul her and she'd go to the line. But she ties it up in a jump ball. And that is going to be Checotah ball. And now the Lady Wildcats bring the ball up the floor. And they don't seem to know what they're doing very well. Here's a shot for three. That's no good. Rebounded by Checotah. Pass out to Saray Butler. There's another shot for three. Air ball. Hannah Boyette with the rebound on that. Up the floor to Cameron Johnson. And Cameron can't save it in time to get a shot off, but she does save it. And she dishes it off to Madison Chambers, who goes up for a shot. The shot is no good, and Madison draws the foul. So that's going to be out of bounds here for the Lady Bulldogs. And here's the inbound pass to Madison Chambers. Madison's going to give it off to Hannah Boyette. Back to Madison. Over to Cameron Johnson for two, and that is no good. Rebounded by the Lady Wildcats. And here comes Madison Proctor for the Lady Wildcats, trying to find something to do with the ball. Vanessa Henson now trying to make her way around Taylon Collins. And Taylon is all over that, almost steals the ball. And here is a pass down low and a shot up, no good. Rebounded by Checotah, another shot up, no good. And a shot blocked by Hannah Boyette, rebounded by Cameron Johnson. Madison Chambers has the ball. And Hannah Boyette now up in the front court. Off to Cameron Johnson, looking down low. Top of the key, Shaylin Mays off to Madison Chambers for three. That is good. And the score now 11-0. Muldrow Lady Bulldogs on top of Checotah. And Checotah Lady Wildcats bringing the ball up the floor. And Taylon Collins picks another pass off. It's like Spider-Man out here. Taylon Collins bringing the ball up the floor by herself because she can. Over to Hannah Boyette. Madison Chambers in the corner, and they're going to deflect that pass. Taken away by Checotah. And here comes Madison Proctor up the floor. She's every bit of 4'8". Dishes it off down low. And Checotah takes another shot, no good. Another shot for three by Madison Proctor, no good. Rebounded by Hannah Boyette. And here come the Lady Bulldogs again. Hannah Boyette into the front court, drive into the hoop, passes it off to Shaylin Mays, who takes a shot for two, and she nails it. About a 12-foot jump shot, and the score is 13-0. The Lady Wildcats inbound the pass, and baseball pass it down the floor, and nobody knows what to do with it, so Hannah Boyette recovers. There's a pass down low to Taylon Collins. Skip pass over to Cameron Johnson for two. No good, off the backboard. Rebound Lady Wildcats. Full court pressure here from the Bulldogs. And now here is a pass down to the three-point line, and one step in. A shot for two is good. And that's going to be Vanessa Henson with the first 2 points of the ball game for the Checotah Lady Wildcats. And now the score is 13-12 with 2:49 left in this first quarter. We're going to see Paige Hughes and Maddie Reeves check into the ball game, and somebody else. Who are we missing? Alicia McCloria. She's in the ball game now for the Lady Bulldogs. So those three new additions, along with Taylon Collins and Hannah Boyette, the two starters. Paige Hughes over on the right, off to Hannah Boyette in the corner, back to Paige Hughes. Back to Hannah for three. Drains it. This is the Hannah Boyette show today, folks. And now Hannah steals another pass down to Taylon Collins down low, and she's going to go up. And she will draw the foul off of number 0, Olivia Clayton. Olivia Clayton is every bit of 6'1" herself. So Taylon Collins going to the line here for two. 16-2. The Muldrow Lady Bulldogs lead the Checotah Lady Wildcats. Here's the first shot from Taylon Collins. Up and no good off the front of the rim. Brianna Dawes is going to check in for Hannah Boyette. Taylon Collins getting set up for her second shot. And that is good. 17-2 now. Lady Bulldogs lead the Lady Wildcats. Taylon Collins with an intercepted pass goes up for a shot, no good. Rebounded by Paige Hughes. And Paige over to Maddie Reeves, over to Brianna Dawes, over to McCloria for three. And that is no good. Rebounded by Paige Hughes. And Paige is going to lose the ball. The Lady Wildcats are bringing the ball up the floor now. Alicia McCloria, heavy defense on number 5, Saray Butler. And Alicia McCloria knocks it loose. And that pass is picked off by Brianna Dawes, and she's going to go to the basket. And that ball is knocked out of bounds by number 15, Madison Proctor. And we are going to see Jenkins come into the game for Collins. Here's the inbound pass to Jenkins over to McCloria. 2-point shot. No good. Rebounded by McCloria off to Paige Hughes. Over to Brianna Dawes on the left side. Back to Paige at the top of the key. Over to McCloria. Back to Paige. Skip past to Brianna Dawes, and she's going to drive. Give it back to Maddie Reeves. Back over to Brianna Dawes. Paige Hughes, top of the key, over to the right to McCloria. Over to Jenkins at the top of the post, down to Maddie Reeves at the low post. Goes up for a shot, no good. Rebounded by Checotah. And now the Lady Wildcats are going to try to put some more points on the board. There's a pass down low, and a shot up is good. Olivia Clayton with 2 points here, and now the score is 17-4 with 1 minute left in the first quarter. McCloria over to Brianna Dawes on the right side. Back to McCloria, back over to Dawes. Over to Paige Hughes. Paige looking for a place to go, taking her time, in no hurry. There is a pass to Brianna Dawes. Over to McCloria, down to Maddie Reeves, and that pass gets picked off and knocked out of bounds by Checotah, and that will be Muldrow ball. 41.22 seconds left. And here's the inbound pass. Way out to Brianna Dawes. Still taking care of the ball are these Lady Bulldogs. Smart play. Paige Hughes on the right side. Back to Brianna Dawes. Over to McCloria. Back to Dawes at the top of the key. Back to McCloria on the left. Back to Dawes. Dawes dribbles over to the right. Passes it back over to McCloria. Now back to Dawes. 18 seconds left in this quarter. Ball is back over to McCloria. Skip pass to Paige Hughes. She had Maddie Reeves down low and missed that pass. There's McCloria now with the ball, and she throws it away. And we're going to get a foul on Brianna Dawes with 5.85 seconds left. Here's Checotah with the inbound pass and a shot up, no good, rebounded by Jenkins. And at the end of the first quarter, the Lady Bulldogs are up 17-4. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. And we're going to bring you back in. The Lady Wildcats are already back out on the floor. Lady Bulldogs taking their dear sweet time because they can. 17-4 is your score. The Lady Bulldogs on top. McCloria out of bounds to Paige Hughes. The ball is in play, and the ball is over to Brianna Dawes. Back over to Paige Hughes in the corner, and she's going to skip pass to McCloria on the right side. And Maddie Reeves with that arm up, trying to move around and get open. And here's McCloria. And we've got a 3-second call in the lane on Maddie Reeves, and I can't say I could tell you that was going to happen. Well, I could say that, but I don't want to. So Maddie Reeves doing what she can to get open, but not moving around fast enough in that lane. I bet she will after this. Now here's the inbound pass. Checotah with the ball up the floor, pick set. And they throw the ball smooth out of bounds. I don't know what kind of play that was. I think that was called the Bulldog. Now here is Muldrow with the ball back. McCloria bringing the ball up into the front court, over to the right to Brianna Dawes, over to McCloria in the corner. Paige Hughes up top. Bulldogs in no hurry to score any points. And you really don't need to be when you have a 13-point lead. And here is Jenkins down low to Maddie Reeves. Great pass, but Maddie Reeves can't hang on to it. Ball goes out of bounds. And the Lady Wildcats with the inbound pass here. Checotah not really good at scoring. 4 points into the second quarter, and they're going to lose the ball out of bounds. And Checotah's coach has a towel over his shoulder, and if I was him, I would be throwing that sucker in at this point. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Paige Hughes now with the ball. Into the front court now with the ball at the top of the key. And they're going to get her – no, they're going to get a foul on Saray Butler, number 5.
Amazing stat here, Clint. This far into the second quarter, Checotah's only taken 10 shots total.
Unbelievable.
They couldn't get the ball past half court for the first 4 minutes of the game.
Ball inbound here. Paige Hughes up top. And now the ball. Paige Hughes is going to lose it down low. Starting 5 going to come back in for Muldrow. Down pass now to Clayton, and foul on Shaylin Mays. Not a foul on Shaylin Mays. They're going to call a walk on Olivia Clayton. Lady Bulldogs have possession again. Lady Wildcats bringing the ball inbound now. We're trying to keep a connection, folks. If we cut out, don't blame us. It's the coverage area. Here is a drive and a shot down low. It goes straight over the backboard by Checotah. And one of the Checotah mothers just informed her child not to shoot over the tall girls. That's an excellent strategy. Cameron Johnson over to Taylon Collins on the left side in the corner. Taylon back to Cameron Johnson. Skip pass over to Madison Chambers and back to Hannah Boyette. And Madison almost pulled up for three and decided against it. Here's Shaylin Mays over to Hannah Boyette for another three. Hannah Boyette is absolutely on fire. There's another 3 points. The score is now 20-4. Lady Bulldogs on top of the Lady Wildcats. And here's a drive. Nothing to do. And ball taken away by Cameron Johnson over to Hannah Boyette. Cameron Johnson now with the ball. And she is going to give it to Hannah Boyette. Over to Shaylin Mays. And we're going to have the ball on the floor here. Taylon Collins sends it over to Shaylin Mays, and Shaylin Mays called for a timeout, but they didn't give it to her. They gave him a jump ball. It's good to see the referees paying attention. Out of bounds here for Checotah. Here's the inbound pass. Taylon Collins with her outstretched arms like a 747. Not really much doing here for Checotah, trying to get the ball up the floor. And we've got a timeout, White. We're going to take it with them. We'll be right back. You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. And we're going to bring you back in live. 30 seconds are up. And the Lady Wildcats now with the ball out of bounds on our side of the floor. Getting a good pep talk. We are 4:19 left in the second quarter. The Checotah Lady Wildcats have 4 points. Ball over to Butler, and she's trying to get around Taylon Collins. 10-second counter is running, and here's the ball up the floor to Proctor, and she's going to hand the ball back off to Butler. Madison Chambers trying to steal that ball and not foul at the same time. Here's a shot. That's good. And finally, there's another 2 points by Checotah. Muldrow's got the ball now. Madison Chambers over to Hannah Boyette, back over to Chambers. Taylon Collins got that arm up down low. Here's Cameron Johnson. All the way down to Madison Chambers, and there's a shot up for two, and that's good. 22-6. We got Coach Mom right behind me. She's a little frustrated, which I understand. 22-6 now, Chase, is the score. Lady Bulldogs on top with 3:21 left in the second quarter. Dwindling down to halftime. Here is Butler. And we've got a foul on 45 White. This girl is built like a linebacker, and she keeps setting picks that are not good. Looks like Gracie Lewis is the name. Here is Cameron Johnson, and she almost loses the ball. And a skip pass over to Hannah Boyette. Down to Taylon Collins down low, and she goes up for two, and that's no good off the back of the rim. And out of bounds off of Cameron Johnson. That's going to be Checotah ball. They will have the ball out of bounds on the far end of the court. Here's the inbound pass to Proctor. And Proctor back over to Kira Collins. And Collins over to Alyssa Brown, and there's a shot up by Proctor, and that is no good. Rebounded by Shaylin Mays, and she got rid of the ball just in time to Hannah Boyette. There's Madison Chambers down to Taylon Collins, and Taylon goes up backwards and misses a shot, but gets her own rebound and then gets fouled. 22-6 now with 2:30 left in the second quarter. Ball out of bounds here. Hannah Boyette, pass inbound to Cameron Johnson for three. That's no good. Rebounded by Taylon Collins. Madison Chambers drives in, dishes it off to Hannah Boyette for three in the corner. That's no good. Rebounded by Taylon Collins over to Cameron Johnson down to Shaylin Mays. And she goes up for two, and that's no good. Rebounded by Hannah Boyette. And she's going to get fouled. Hannah's going to get fouled down low. They call that on the floor even though she went up for a shot. That's okay. McCloria checking into the ball game. for Cameron Johnson. Cameron looks a little winded. She's going to have a seat for just a moment.
That was a 17th foul, so that'll send her to the line, shoot a 1-and-1.
Lord have mercy. 1-and-1. We're giving points away. Here's Hannah Boyette from the free throw line. First shot is good. And second shot, Hannah Boyette. That's good too. 24-6 with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left. They need to start the clock. And the inbound pass here to Checotah is picked off by Madison Chambers, and she can't hang on to it. And the ball goes out of bounds. The ball will stay with the Lady Wildcats, who need all the help they can get at this point. The inbound pass here to Madison Proctor. She's going to look for a route to the basket, can't find one, and here is Alyssa Brown off to Vanessa Henson, who goes up for two. That's no good. Rebounded by Proctor with a shot for three, and that's good. And there's that little bit of help they're looking for. The score is now 24-9. Hannah Boyette's got the ball for the Lady Bulldogs. They are in a commanding lead here. Madison Chambers going to drive all the way to the hoop and put up a shot, and that is good for two. 26-9. Here's a pass all the way down the floor, and Madison Chambers is going to pick that sucker off. Here's a pass over to Hannah Boyette on the right. All smiles are the Lady Bulldogs right now. Here is Taylor Collins over to Madison, over to McCloria. And Hannah Boyette goes up for a shot, and they're going to call her for a travel. And the parents get more upset when their kids are losing. I understand. The ones behind us are awfully mad. Here's the inbound pass. Hannah Boyette takes the ball away, goes up for a shot. No good. Lady Wildcats with the rebound, and Proctor with a shot down low, and that is good. Looked like she threw up a prayer, but she made it. Hannah Boyette now with the ball. 38 seconds left, 26-11. 15-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs. Hannah Boyette. Skip pass to McCloria. Madison Chambers now with the ball over to Hannah Boyette. 21 seconds left. The second quarter almost over with. Madison Chambers with the ball on the left, over to Hannah Boyette on the right. 5 seconds left. And nobody does a thing with the ball. We're going to go to halftime, 26-11. The Muldrow Lady Bulldogs are on top. Dennis is compiling stats. There shouldn't be a whole lot of work involved in that because this has been a slow game. So we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and we will be right back with some numbers. You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. Then we're going to bring you back in live. Halftime, Dennis is looking at me like he's seen better days, so we're going to give it off to him for some stats after this cheerleader bit the dust over here on Checotah's side of the floor. Dennis, what do you got for us?
Well, Clint, you keep talking about it. I want to reiterate what you said. I know we're cutting in and out a lot on the internet, but it's not our fault. We bought the finest equipment we could get for this situation.
Yeah, we have hotspot times 2 over here. Yeah. It's still not good enough for this area.
And so it's just where we're at in Checotah. There's just some dead spots along the interstate, and we're just in one of them. But there was nothing dead about the performance of the Lady Bulldogs in the first half, especially early on. You know, one of the things that I commented on at the end of the first quarter, they had only taken 10 shots. The Checotah Lady Wildcats only taken 10 shots. They've only taken 14 shots total to this point in the game.
That's not how you win a ball game.
They did shoot a little better in the second quarter. They're hitting 3 of 4, but man, it was just horrible. They couldn't get the ball past half court because of the tremendous defensive effort on the part of the Lady Bulldogs. And as far as the scoring goes, it's really been all Hannah Boyette. And the game is going about like we figured. You know, the last game was about a 30-point game and probably could have been a lot worse. But Boyette finished with 16 points to lead the way for everybody. Chambers finished with 7 points on a three-pointer and 2 traditional buckets. Shayla Mays added the bucket for 2, and then Taylor Collins hit a free throw, and that's the 26 points for the Lady Bulldogs. On the opposite side of the ledger, Sherry Butler
led with
4 points and 3 points from Proctor 2 points from Henson, and that's all the scoring for those ladies. So as you check that, Clayton had a bucket, a 2-point bucket, and that's 11 points for those ladies. Clint, this one, if Coach Armour had left the starters in, she took this is the absolute truth. At the 5-minute and 45-second was gone, and there was 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. All the starters were sitting down. The what we call the second team, which you and I have talked about before, is as good as a lot of the first teams and some of these teams we see. Absolutely. The second team took it from there till about 3.5 minutes into the second quarter, and then finally she put some of the starters back in. But this literally could have been a 50-6 score here at the half had Coach Armour chosen to leave the Lady Bulldogs in and let them play. So that's all I got. I guess we'll go back and throw it back to the sponsors and pay a few more bills.
You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com. We've had a little bit of scoring going on for those of you who are trying to hang in with us. 39-16, 3:31 left in the third quarter. Hannah Boyette drained another three just a second ago. Inbound pass, Hannah Boyette over to Taylor Collins, over to Madison Chambers on the left side, and down low to Taylor Collins with a shot up, and that's good for another two. 41-16 now. Lady Bulldogs with a commanding lead here in the first round of the Checotah Crossroads Classic. And here's a drive. And I think she got stepped on by Taylor Collins. She's okay, though. I believe she got fouled on the shot. She's going to go to the line with a chance for two here. Madison Proctor is her name. She looks like she's doing some voodoo with the basketball and about lost control of it. Dennis, have you ever seen anything like that?
She was introducing the ball to the hoop.
I mean, I think she was introducing the universe to the ball. I mean, that was crazy. Here is the second shot. Madison Proctor, there she is again. That's the funniest thing just outside from that guy doing the chicken dance before he threw his shot up.
Whatever she's doing, it worked.
It did work. That's two shots in and good there for Madison Proctor. And now we've got a ball knocked out of bounds by Checotah. Alicia McCloria with the ball out of bounds and passing it inbound to Hannah Boyette for three, and that's a good shot. We've got a buzzer out here. And Checotah and the rest of the world thought the game stopped, and Hannah Boyette said nope, and she busted a three. So 44-18 now. Well, there's a 2-point shot, 44-20. The Lady Bulldogs are on top. There's some stuff going on in this game that I've never seen before in my life. Ooh, Hannah wanted to take another 3-point shot, and she did not. There's a pass over to McCloria down to Shaylin Mays down low. And Shaylin up for two, and that's no good. She one-handed that. If she would have gone two hands off the backboard, that would have gone in. She had a great position. And now the Lady Wildcats trying to figure out something to do. There's a shot from the free throw line, no good. Rebounded by Alicia McCloria over the back foul by Saray Butler.
Clint, I don't know if this speaks to how well Hannah's playing or how poorly Checotah's playing, but she has outscored Checotah by herself.
How many points does Hannah have?
22.
How many?
22.
22 points for Hannah Boyette.
So it's
20 points.
So it's Hannah 22, Checotah 20.
Yes, and of course the rest of the team, they've got some great points. 22 to be exact for the rest of the Muldrow Lady Bulldogs. And now here is Alicia McCloria driving in for a shot, and she gets blocked. Now they've got something to celebrate on the Checotah side besides birthdays, because they certainly can't celebrate basketball. Now here's a pass over to Paige Hughes. Hannah Boyette for three, and that's no good. Rebounded by Checotah. And the Lady Wildcats trying to find something to do with this basketball and can't figure it out. Shaylin Mays with a block. And now Madison Chambers with the ball, and she pulls up for a jump shot, and it is no good as she does get fouled on that shot. So Madison's going to the line for two shots. Lady Wildcats with the ball. 45-20. 51 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's the inbound pass by the Lady Bulldogs, or by the Lady Wildcats, I'm sorry. Alicia McClory, a heavy defense on her lady. And here is a pass down low, and it cannot be held on to by Checotah. That's going out of bounds. Lady Bulldogs have the ball now. McClory to Boyette, inbound pass. Hannah bringing the ball into the front court now. Pass over to Paige Hughes. Over to Hannah Boyette for three. And that is no good. Bounces over the backboard. Out of bounds for the Lady Bulldogs. And now the Lady Wildcats will have possession. 26 seconds left in the third quarter. Alicia McClory not letting her lady get anywhere with this basketball. She finally passes it off with a pass over to the right side. And there's a shot for two. Good. 8 seconds now. Hannah Boyette's got the ball from Muldrow. Going to try to put one more stamp on this third quarter. Alicia McClory for three, and that's no good. Hannah Boyette with a putback, but that's no good. At the end of the third quarter, the score is 45-22. Muldrow Lady Bulldogs with a commanding lead. We're going to try to take a break and listen to our sponsors without getting cut off by the signal gods, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com.
Hey, we're going to bring you back in live. For those of you listening live still, we still have quite a few of you, and we appreciate you. Inbound pass to Checotah, and that is good for 2 points. 45-24 now. Lady Bulldogs on top of the Lady Wildcats. Taylon Collins now with the ball. Out to Paige Hughes. Taylon Collins over to Hannah Boyette. Over to Paige Hughes, and she wanted a three-point shot. Over to Hannah Boyette now. To McClory at the top of the post, and two-point shot is no good. Rebounded by Taylon Collins. Over to Cameron Johnson. Over to Paige Hughes. Down to Hannah Boyette, and she's going to put a shot up off the backboard. That is good. 2 more points now for Hannah Boyette and Lady Bulldogs, 47-24. Lady Wildcats with the ball out on the left side of their wing. And looking for a place to go. Taylon Collins, heavy defense as always. Ball top of the key. Dribbling around and stripped away from Taylon Collins, but they do recover. Lady Wildcats, parents behind me begging for somebody to shoot the ball. I'd be begging for a shooter too if I was down by this much. Cameron Johnson now with the steal and bringing the ball up the floor on her own. And the ball is knocked out of bounds by Checotah. It'll be Lady Bulldogs ball. 6:25 left on the clock. Taylon Collins inbound pass here, and she puts up a 2-point shot. That is also good. Go to the goal, Mother says. The Lady Wildcats trying to figure out what to do now. Heavy defense here. We get a little tangle on the floor. Hannah Boyette gets tripped up, and they call a foul on her. That's the stupidest foul I've ever seen in my life. Hannah gets tripped, goes to the floor, and they call her with a foul. That's excellent. Lady Wildcats with a shot after the inbound pass, no good. Taylon Collins with the rebound off to Madison Chambers down low, and that is good for 2 points. Ball knocked out of bounds here for the Lady Wildcats. I'm trying to respond to as much feedback as I possibly can. McClory up for a shot down low. She get fouled. Shot's no good. Taylon Collins with a steal now. Puts up a shot down low, and that is good. Lady Bulldogs on top, 55-24. Paige Hughes with a steal over to McClory, and she's going to pull up for a jump shot. No good. Rebounded by Cameron Johnson, and she goes up down low, and that shot is blocked, but she does get fouled. And if we're connected, hopefully we are again. So Lady Bulldogs up 56-24. Bounce pass to the inside, back to the outside. Here's a drive by Checotah, and that's no good. On the shot, Brianna Dawes with the rebound. Here's the inbound pass to McCloria. She's going to put a spin move, hit the circle button on her lady, and there's Jenkins with the ball, and she's going to go down low and put up a shot. And we've got a foul, and Brianna Dawes is going to take the ball out down low. And here's a pass inbound to Maddie Reeves, and Maddie's going to step out and give it to Jenkins. And now Jenkins looking for somewhere to go, and Smithson with the ball now. Lacey's got the ball. Over to Jenkins at the top of the key. 3:19 left in this ball game, 56-24. Lady Bulldogs on top. Maddie Reeves down low with a shot, no good, way off the mark. Brianna Dawes with a rebound. She goes up for two, and that is good. 58-24 now, and the Lady Bulldogs are not making this easy on the Lady Wildcats. 2:55 left in this ball game. Lady Wildcats looking for a place to go. I think right now they're just in damage control mode. Clayton dishes the ball off. Nobody can seem to get a good handle on it. Checotah at this point is just trying to keep Muldrow from getting the ball back and putting points on the board. 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 59-24. The Lady Bulldogs are leading this. Shot for three is no good. Jenkins bringing the ball up the floor, dishes it off to Smithson, and she cannot hang on to the ball. Lacey loses it out of bounds, and the Checotah Lady Wildcats are going to take the ball out. Megan Powell in the game now for Muldrow. So Megan's going to get a little playing time here with 2 minutes left in this ball game. Proctor with the ball now on the left side at the top of the key, but she's way out near half court. Proctor with the ball again in the right corner. Shot is good. 59-26 now. Jenkins with the ball over to Brianna Dawes. The last time these two teams played, the score was 60-33. And now here's Brianna Dawes. She's going to lose the ball. And Checotah is going to bring the ball back up on their side of the floor. Minute 15 seconds left in this ball game. Another shot for three, and that's no good. Jenkins with the rebound. She's going to go hard, and here's a pass to Megan Powell, and that ball is going to go out of bounds, and it will be Checotah possession. Lady Wildcats bringing the ball up now, and Jenkins comes up with a loose ball. And Brianna Dawes is going to try to get rid of it, but she gets thrown to the floor. Nobody's going to blow a whistle, and that's okay. Jenkins with the ball now over to Powell on the right side. And she's going to have to get rid of this. And she does throw the ball, and it's going to get knocked out of bounds by the Wildcats. 21.2 seconds left now. And there is a three-point shot, perfect, by Brianna Dawes, and the score is 62-26 with 13 seconds left. 10 seconds now left in the ball game. Shot by Clayton to end the ball game, and the Lady Bulldogs are going to win this 62-26. We are going to take a break. We're going to try to listen to some sponsors while we keep a connection, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com.
Well, for those of you still listening live, we are going to try to talk some stats here and see if we can do this without our connection cutting out on us. And folks, if you don't know where Checotah is, which I'm sure you do, we are literally out in the middle of nowhere. This is middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Hotspots are bad here. Their internet at the school is less than desirable. So I'm going to pitch it over to Dennis. Dennis, what do you have on stats?
Well, Clint, we talked about the first game between those two teams being a 63-20 game. This one was a 63-30 game. This one was 62-59, so not much off, and especially really considering Coach Armour didn't play the starters for about probably two-thirds of the game. Anyway, finishing up tonight, leading the way was Hannah Boyette with 24 points. Collins came on after having 1 point in the first half. Collins finished with 13 points, 10 points for Chambers, 4 points for Mays, 3 points or 5 points for Johnson, 4 points for Mays, 3 points for Dawes, and a single bucket for Maddie Reeves. For the Checotah Lady Wildcats, nobody got into double figures. There were 2 players with 9s. That was Butler and Henson. 5 points from Cooper, or check that, Proctor. 2 points from Clayton, and 2 points from Hamilton. And that's all you're scoring in this game. As Clint said earlier, we do apologize for all the on and off stuff. We've tried to even go to the school and be able to use their internet, but we can't even pick up their internet signal from the school. They were nice enough to give us their password, but if we can't hook to it, then having the password don't do us any good at all. We do want to thank everybody staying with us. Also want to thank all of our sponsors. We appreciate it. We try to play our sponsors a lot more than we're contractually obligated to. And so when something like this happens and we lose signal, if it happens during your commercials, we understand you're upset, but we're doing the best we can with what we got to work with here. And we are about a minute and 30 seconds away here from getting started back. And Clint, a lot of exciting stuff happening with today in Fort Smith. We have a young lady that's probably going to start to work for us next week in our sales department, and that's going to expand what we're able to do quite a bit. We've got basketball all the way through the state tournaments, the Class 1A, the Class 4A state tournaments. We'll be there for the Sealing Wildcats. That community has come together, and they're paying us to just come and broadcast their games in the state tournament. We'll also have the games for the Lady Bulldogs and the Bulldogs if they make it. And who knows, if some other area teams make either one of those tournaments, we may have some broadcasts for those teams.
I'm almost sure Roland's boys will make it, so we'll probably have to talk to some folks in Roland and see if we're
going to be there anyway. And
might as well.
We've already got our room scheduled, and we're ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, we're absolutely ready to go here. We're going to have the starting lineups, and then we'll get this boys game underway.
You're listening to Muldrow Bulldogs basketball, presented by Divine Lines Body Art Studio and Academy in Fort Smith, and brought to you by todayinfortsmith.com.